Hot news in Toronto. Anthony Stolarz, the goaltender who started the season as a backup, now carries the symbolic weight of 57 years of frustration from one of the NHL's most passionate and impatient fan bases. With decisive performances at critical moments, but a dip in form in recent games, Stolarz has become the central figure in a story that has already surpassed the boundaries of the ice. And the question on everyone's mind is he the name that could finally change the Maple Leafs narrative? The goaltender saga in Toronto is a collage of broken promises, almost glorious moments, and devastating falls. Since 1967, the team has repeatedly failed to find that reliable netminder who stands firm when the pressure reaches almost unbearable levels in the playoffs. With every new attempt, the same script. A goaltender rises during the regular season, excites, fuels the dream, and collapses when the Stanley Cup becomes too real. Jack Campbell, Ilya Samsonov, James Reimer. The names change, but the fate repeats. The shadow of the past does not forgive those who wear the Leafs jersey and gold. It is in this scenario that Anthony Stolarz entered the picture, a name that, until the start of the season, went unnoticed even by the most attentive fans. A backup to Sergei Bobrovsky with the Florida Panthers, Stolarz's most notable playoff experience was an irrelevant role in the 2024 Stanley Cup Final. He entered as mop-up duty, that goaltender who appears when the game is already decided just to fulfill the protocol. But the Leafs, in search of stability, saw something different. With Ilya Samsonov under criticism and Joseph Woll still developing, Toronto took a chance on a 2-year contract with Stolarz. It wasn't a bold gamble. It was a plan B, a precautionary measure to give Woll time and support while the franchise figured out its long-term plans for the position. What no one predicted was that Plan B would become Plan A. Stolarz assumed the starting role with poise. He achieved 21 wins during the regular season, lost only 8, and had 3 games decided in overtime. More impressive than that, his save percentage reached .926. Elite numbers. Numbers that not only secured victories, but also brought confidence to a team that hadn't known what it was like to have stability in goal for years. But the Leafs' fortune is also a roller coaster. During the season, Stolarz had to miss 23 games due to knee surgery. And during that time, the team began to fluctuate again. His absence was felt not only in the statistics, but in the team's atmosphere. Without him, the defensive structure wavered. With him, the team seemed to find its balance again. As the playoffs approached, Stolarz returned. And he returned just as he had left. Calm, technical, determined. Toronto entered the playoffs not just with hope, but with the feeling that this time, the goal was in good hands. In the series against the Ottawa Senators, Stolarz was a standout name in the early battles. 3 games went to overtime. He won 2. His reflexes, positioning, and emotional control made the difference in moments where, historically, the Leafs would collapse. But then came games 4 and 5, and the air of invincibility began to crack. In Game 4, Stolarz recorded a save percentage of only .810. In Game 5, it was .882. These are numbers that, in isolation, raise concerns. In such a tight series, any deviation from consistency could spell the end. Even so, when we look at his overall performance in the playoffs so far, Stolarz keeps Toronto alive. 3 wins, 2 losses, a SV percent of .899, and an average of 2.25 goals allowed per game. Solid stats, especially for a goaltender with so little prior experience in this kind of environment. And it's not just in the numbers that he stands out. In Game 2, after a collision with Riddell Gregg, Stolarz responded with intensity. He showed that he wouldn't be intimidated. He shouted, he stared, a demeanor that contrasted with the traditional image of Toronto goalies in recent decades. Instead of collapsing under pressure, Stolarz seems to thrive on it. Inside the locker room, this hasn't gone unnoticed. Teammates recognize in him a firm, combative, reliable presence. He's not the type of leader who shouts, but he's the type of player who inspires, and more importantly, who provides security when the game is on the line. The question is, can he maintain this level? Stolarz is not just defending the Leafs' goal. He is facing 57 years of history, an invisible but real pressure that has destroyed careers and prevented talents from flourishing. And every game from now on could be the moment when the scales finally tip to the other side, or repeat the cycle. So what do you think? Is Stolarz really the goaltender Toronto has been waiting for decades? Or are we just living another chapter of the same old tragedy? Comment below. Will the Toronto Maple Leafs finally break the playoff losing cycle? After taking a 3-0 series lead against the Ottawa Senators, the team seemed ready to embark on a new chapter in its history. But what happened when things really got intense? 1 week later, with the team squandering several chances to close out the series, the situation now seems uncertain again. With mounting pressure, will the Leafs be able to overcome the ghosts of the past and finally reach playoff glory? The Toronto Maple Leafs are one of the most traditional and successful franchises in NHL history, but also one of the most marked by playoff failure. In recent years, despite a roster full of stars and impressive regular season performances, the Leafs have repeatedly found themselves eliminated in the crucial playoff rounds, particularly in decisive games. The team carries a historical weight of disappointment, with a 1-13 record in deciding series games since 2018. Even with players like Austin Matthews, John Tavares, and William Nylander, the team has failed to translate its regular season success into victorious performances in the most important moments of the tournament. 2025 seemed different. For the first time in years, the team found itself in a comfortable leadership position against the Ottawa Senators, with a 3-0 series lead. For many, this was the ideal moment for the Leafs to finally exorcise their playoff demons and move forward with confidence into the next rounds. The game seemed to be in their favor, but the Leafs couldn't capitalize on the opportunities. Like a twist, the advantage gradually faded, and now, instead of celebrating a qualification, the team is under pressure to close the series in Ottawa in a tense Game 6. And the media has not been kind to the team. With a series of failures at the most crucial moments, the focus now falls on the mistakes made by the key players, whose performances have not been enough to secure victory. The power play, vital in any playoff series, remains ineffective, with no conversions in 30 consecutive games. With every wrong play, the criticism grows, and with it, the pressure on the team. But before we dive into the analysis of what's at stake for the Toronto Maple Leafs, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. If you're a hockey fan and following the rumors and behind the scenes of the season, don't miss any updates. Together, we'll analyze how the franchise can finally break this cycle of losses and what the future holds for their top talents. Don't forget to leave your comments on the team and what you think is needed for the Leafs to finally win in the playoffs. The team's captain, Morgan Rielly, is not only one of the best defensemen in the NHL, but also one of the most important leaders of this Toronto Maple Leafs generation. He has seen the highs and lows of the franchise up close, and in a season that has been unstable at times, he remains a key presence. Despite the challenges faced, Rielly has stood out, ranking second in goals on the team, behind only John Tavares. Rielly has more goals than players like Austin Matthews and William Nylander combined, an impressive feat for a defenseman. But despite this, we know that Rielly's performance, as crucial as it is not enough to change the team's fate on its own. Since the start of the series against the Ottawa Senators, the pressure has mounted on the key players. Rielly knows exactly what's at stake, but he also understands that the team needs to stay united and focused. He made sure to emphasize the importance of staying calm and confident, as despite the lead in the series, the work isn't done until the final buzzer. "We have to stay united," said Rielly. "We've been through this before. We're leading the series. There's no reason to panic. But as everyone knows, words and actions are two different things, especially when the weight of criticism and the team's historical pressure become unbearable. Inside the locker room, the pressure on the players is immense. The media, as always, plays a major role in the narrative. Since 2018, the story of the Toronto Maple Leafs in the playoffs has been marked by failures, and the constant inability to close out decisive games has been a major source of criticism. For the players, this represents not only a mental challenge, but also an emotional roller coaster. The team knows that their ability to respond to adversity will be crucial in determining if they will finally achieve playoff success. Rielly's approach is clear. They need to focus on playing their game and ignore external distractions. But it's hard not to feel the weight of all the historical pressure. The roster, with its high-level players, knows that the big challenge is not only maintaining the lead, but eliminating the mistakes that have been recurring. In Rielly's case, he has been one of the most consistent players, but his season hasn't been flawless. Even so, he remains one of the team's key contributors, with performance that, though unstable, has been crucial. It's clear that the team needs more from Rielly, more from Matthews, more from Stolarz, more from everyone, if they truly want to go beyond. Now, with the pressure at its peak and the series at risk, what can change the Toronto Maple Leafs? They have everything to close the series against the Senators and move on. The key, however, lies not just in the individual talent of their players, but in their ability to come together as a team. They need to make smart decisions, capitalize on the opportunities, and, most importantly, stay strong under pressure. If Rielly, Matthews, Stolarz, and Nylander can elevate their games and capitalize on the opponent's mistakes, the Leafs may finally achieve what has eluded them for so long. However, if the team cannot overcome these moments of tension, the season will end in frustration once again. They need a flawless collective performance, without the mistakes that have marked previous playoffs. And the big question is, can the Leafs break this losing cycle? Will history be rewritten in 2025, or will we see another early elimination? The future of the Toronto Maple Leafs is at stake, and the next step of the franchise depends on how they respond to pressure. The question that hangs in the air is, will the Leafs finally advance to the next rounds with the confidence and performance everyone expects from them? Or will it be another disappointment in the already turbulent playoff history? Leave your opinion in the comments. Do you think the Toronto Maple Leafs can overcome their demons and secure victory in the 2025 playoffs? What will it take for them to finally break the cycle of failures? Don't forget to like and subscribe to not miss any detail about the future of this team. And stay tuned, because in the next video, we'll analyze the next steps and challenges the team may still face this season. See you then.